Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. To my returning subscribers, you are the best. Wouldn't have reached here, you are just awesome. Wouldn't have reached here without your efforts and your love. To you that just seen this video for the first time, please click on the subscribe button, then like and share and comment. Thank you. So today we are going to be diving into a very important topic. Important basically for health workers. It's also important for you out there. Not like is I am the topic is laboratory safety and laboratory safety. They're not just set of rules. They're just a matter of life and death. So today I'm going to use real life incident that happened in my facility. One is with my colleague who frequently works without wearing her correct PPEs, and I who feels I observe every safety protocols by wearing my correct PPEs. And really, these two incidents highlight the dangers of working without correct PPEs and the serious consequences of accidental exposures in laboratories. So, as a laboratory scientist, I am a medical laboratory scientist by profession. So, as a medical laboratory scientist, we are often we always handle infectious materials, sharp objects, and hazardous chemicals on a daily basis. So, because of the nature of our job, using correct PPEs and following biosafety guidelines are not just formalities. You can't just come up and say, oh, laboratory safety or the use of your correct PPEs and biosafety guidelines are just formalities. No, they're not just formalities because they protect us from life-threatening infections like HIV, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, the VDRL, and other blood-borne pathogens. So when I started, I said I was going to talk about the incident that happened in my facility. Now, before I continue with those incidents, I want to say that safety is everyone's business. Safety is truly, when we say safety is everyone, know it today that safety is everyone's business. It's truly everyone's business. For my colleague, she lies working without her correct PPEs. And for me, I work with my correct PPEs. And this experiences has taught me that the importance of safety cannot be overemphasized. Many of us believe that if we simply wear our gloves, that it can protect us from all the accidents that could happen in the lab. And I want to tell you today that I also believe that, but I truly learned in a hard way. In a hard way, truly. So, as a laboratory scientist, we often work with fragile materials like glass capillary tubes. The glass capillary tube is always used for hematocrit to check in case the patient enters, the patient wants to check his or her Paxil volume. So we use the glass capillary tube. So is I will show you the picture of the glass capillary tube. So when you put your blood inside, you have to see one end. So in the verge of trying to see one end with a sealant, this glass capillary tube snapped and pierced and punctured my finger. At first, I was in shock as I was wearing my gloves, but they weren't enough to prevent the sharp glass from piercing my finger. Now, the biggest concern was the capillary tube was filled with a patient blood sample, which was finally confirmed to be hepatitis C positive. And it was the exact place that was filled with blood that broke and entered inside my finger. Oh my good God. Before we go into the measures I took, I would also like to discuss my colleague's experience too. My colleague she has a habit of working with hot gloves despite repeated warnings, although she also learns in a hard way. So one day, while handling a blood sample for my HIV infected patients, she accidentally pricked she was accidentally pricked with a used needle. So what went wrong in all these things I explained? Number one, no gloves. My colleague is always fond of working without gloves. So even though gloves don't prevent from needle pricks, at least they can act as a barrier against direct contact with infectious fluids. And in fact, I wonder why. So in fact, if I go to most facilities, I marvel. That's why we say a trained personnel, they just be touching patient, touching everything, touching everywhere, surfaces without wearing gloves, without even wearing their lab gloves. I kept wondering, I kept asking myself, is it the same training we undergo that this person went for? Because I don't know. When we say safety is everybody's business, it is really everybody's business. Because you as a colleague, your life is very important to us. When you're working in a lab or when you're working in a health facility, always remember that you have a family that you're going to go home to. You can get infected and go home and pass the infection to your family members. You can also pass it to your colleagues who are working with you. You can also transmit this infection to your patient who came in to your facility for a different treatment. So I wonder, I don't know. I'm just doing this short video so that people will know from my experiences that safety is truly wearing your correct PPE. In fact, is is very important. It's very important that you're working, you're trying to save people, and at the end of the day, you came down with an infection. It doesn't make sense. You've ended up not doing anything. So what other thing can we learn from this thing? The technique matters. The manner in which you handle glasswares in the lab matters. For some facilities, you go there, you see plenty bottles. Plenty broken bottles can be a kind of it can be a big weapon. It can give us a cut at any time. Working in a facility, in a health facility, you don't have to have an open wound. So the manner of which you handle things, like the manner at which I was handling that capillary tube, I've never had that experience in my whole life ever since I started practice. But I think I was carried away by a patient walked in and she was talking to me. So I was listening to her and I was carried away. And that was the only reason why that capillary tube pierced me and entered into my hand. Now let me shock you. For my colleague, she was the doctor has had to go for a post exposure prophylaxis for HIV. Now for the one that pierced me, I went to see the gastroenterologist who said there is no prophylaxis for hepatitis C because the capillary tube that pierced me was this patient sample was hepatitis C positive, and he said there is no prophylaxis for hepatitis C. So what do I do, sir, please? He said I have to go home, live my life, then I'll have to wait for 6 months. After 6 months, I'll come back to screen. If I'm positive, that's if I test positive to hepatitis C, that's when they'll start treatment. If not, I'm good to go. So can you imagine? Assuming assuming I came down positive, so I now start taking drugs for a simple mistake. There's no prophylaxis for hepatitis C. For my colleague that her case was HIV, there in fact she was lucky. So what do you want to why I'm doing this video is to charge your memory that safety is truly everyone in there. You don't say, oh, because I'm busy, because I'm doing this, oh, I forgot. No, you don't forget things in the lab. You have to be safety conscious. Everybody has to be safety conscious. You get it? So after the incident, my friend, I said earlier She was placed on a post exposure prophylaxis. Is a months long treatment, you know, to prevent the risk of HIV transmission. So please, we want to urge all of us, please, let safety be our business, let safety be our cause, let safety be our priority, please. So what are the immediate actions that we took when this things happened to us? Number one thing, the first thing I did was my colleague too, because I was around when that thing happened to her. The first thing we did was stop working immediately to assess the injury. Now the next thing you have to do, wash off the area thoroughly with soap and under a running water. Report the incident to your superior. Like if you have a supervisor, just run to your supervisor, report the incident to your supervisor. The next thing you do, you undergo a post-exposure assessment to determine any potential risk. Like I told you, mine, the gastroenterologist said there is no prophylaxis for it. So I was just at the mercies of God. And truly, God came through for me that I was still negative. So, what are the key takeaways from all this plenty grammar that we've been speaking since morning? Always wear your correct PPE while handling samples. Whether the sample is water, whether the sample is blood, know it that anything that enters the lab is considered infectious. So each time you want to handle anything that enters the lab, anything, if even if it's water, people bring their water for treatment. You don't know what they use to treat their water. So handle it with care and also wear your correct PPEs. There are sometimes that things will splash because you're not wearing correct PPEs. Number two, never you ever underestimate the risk of needle stick injury. If you are pricked, please stop work, please wash up. Don't say, oh, it's small. I didn't know if it entered though. Maybe it didn't enter. Oh, there is no blood coming. Don't underestimate any needle stick prick. And what is the next thing you do? If expose, immediately wash the area. Report and start post-exposure prophylaxis within 72 hours. For my colleague, she started her own immediately. In fact, she didn't even want to wait. Immediately she started because it was confirmed that the patient was HIV positive. So within 72 hours, you start your post-exposure prophylaxis. What's the next thing to do? Foster a culture of safety. Hey, hey, hey. We say foster a culture of what? Safety. Remind colleagues when they are going or when they ignore protocols. When your colleague, we are not seeing a colleague, she will want to come and touch things, she won't wear her gloves, she won't wear her lab. Always remind them because if they come down with things like hepatitis B or C, there's a likelihood that they can pass it to you. What we're saying is that nobody is safe. When your colleague is down with one thing, it's possible that it could also affect you. So always remind them. Each time you see them, remind them. Remind them. So in conclusion, these two incidents serve as powerful reminder that our small mistake can change a life forever. Our small mistake can change a life forever. This thing is looking easy. But if it happens to you, you will know that it's not easy. I mean, when I had that prick, that capillary tube prick, I mean, for that Xmas, if there was any holiday, I didn't know what was happening. I wasn't myself. I wasn't happy because I don't know. So any little mistake, any tiny mistake can cause a life forever. That's the truth. Laboratory safety is not optional. It's not just an option. It's a responsibility that we owe to ourselves, to our colleagues, to our families, to our patients. So please, Laboratory safety is not an option. Wherever if there is anything to take home, laboratory know it today that laboratory safety is not an option. If you find this my video helpful, please click on the subscribe button, click on the like and share button. Thank you. Till come your way next time.